Welcome back to the HoodCast.
It is now
The
time.
opinions expressed on the HoodCast are those of the guests and the host. They reflect no inference or agreement by Hood Tech Productions or Hood Tech Productions LLC or HoodCast LLC. The information presented on the HoodCast is not intended to offend any race, creed, religion, sexual orientation, or nation of origin. Please listen at your own discretion.
It is now time.
It's time.
Get ready. Get ready.
Let's do it.
What's good?
What it do, Willie Biggs? I think that it is time for the show, bro.
All right, it's the HoodCast theme song. It's about time we gave y'all a new one. So G-Mac got us in the booth. Let's go.
Hey man, we back. It's the show from the past. So get your drink and grab a seat because we're here. And if I didn't before, let me make it clear. We on Instagram and Facebook, turn us loud up in your ear. We're shining brighter than a hanging crystal chandelier. Hanging from the roof, shenanigans funny as hell. You know, man, we the truth. Without further ado, I hit the boards and grab the mic. We get online a little early so we can get our sound right. And then we go off and show off when we do our thing. We spit the truth to the world. I hope you understand our slang. I am the host who they call G-Mac the boss. Trying to make up for the lost time in the few years that we lost. We play that 5S music, it's the same thing all the time. My passion is so depth, but you can tell it in this rhyme. I'm good on my refreshments, I done been went to the store. The moment we all be waiting for. It's our time now for the show, yeah.
All right, let's go. It's HoodCast. You know what it is, your favorite show, twice a week. www.hoodcast.podomatic.com, hoodtechproductions.com. G-Mac, don't tell them what it is, bro.
For sure that's in the present, but it's from the past. They say the HoodCast was a one hell of a cast. It's the show that say that makes your stomach weak. Instagram and Facebook twice a week. For sure that's in the present, but it's from the past. They say the HoodCast was a one hell of a cast. It's the show that say that makes your stomach weak. Instagram and Facebook twice a week.
This is Robot Ron, and now the moment you all been waiting for. G-Mac, Willie Biggs, and Code.
What's up, world? How is it going? Welcome back to another edition of Hood Tech Presents the HoodCast. www.hoodtechproductions.com. And this thing so crazy, baby. It's been your boy G-Mac the boss. So I guess I'm finna bring people in the order they came in, I guess. Guess who was here first? Kokomo the Don.
What's up, motherfuckers?
Well, I got a, let's see, where he at? The Willie Biggs dude? Willie Biggs. William Biggs.
What's happening, people? How y'all feeling?
And Jen E. Late. She's on Kokomo time. And world, we have...
Kokomo ain't even on Kokomo time. Don't do that.
Wow. And world, we have our that stop through guest. That's Hood Tech fam. That's always fam. Tim Cushion up in this thing. Where he at?
Nah, I'm right here.
He right there.
Yeah.
Big Tim Cushing's in the building.
Bigger than life, baby.
Round of applause for, I guess, tonight, Tim Cushing.
Great article, by the way, Tim.
I'm gonna put
thank you.
Put some sound effects in, y'all. I'm gonna put some sound effects.
Yeah, we got to get some audience. Got some
same.
clapping noise and shit. But yes, we've been looking forward to this, Tim. I hit the team up and told them we wanted to talk to you about a very, very, very interesting article that I think the taxpayers should be aware of. We're going to get into that on our second segment of the show. But
Sure.
in the meantime, in between time, before we get started and somebody try to take my fucking job, G-Mac, can you please tell these folks where to play the send the fucking music?
Well,
everybody wants to take my job.
Music played on Hood Tech Presents the HoodCast. Please send us your original MP3s to thehoodcast@gmail.com. Original
Right down
MP3s,
There.
right at the bottom.
Okay.
Please send
I'm
us.
doing my best Vanna Black.
Right.
Vanna
Vanna Black. Oh, it's not Vanna Black, it's Shaquita Black.
Shaquita
Vanna
Black.
Black.
Shaquita Black.
Yeah.
Turn the
You know what I'm
letters.
saying?
Turn the letters.
Right.
Yes, we got
So,
Tim here
world.
tonight, man. We're going to have a good show. Go ahead, G-Mike.
Biggs, you must be down and out or something, man. You know, is it?
I am tired as fuck, man. I
Daylight savings time is a scam.
It is a scam, but
Stop this shit, man.
this fucking 1 hour shit is. It's really bothering me.
It's jacking me up. Let me tell y'all what happened.
Is this story gonna take 30 minutes?
No, shut up.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You don't appreciate my nurse humor. Whatever.
All right.
So I woke up at like 4:50 because I had some kind of dream, weird psychological dream, and it was like pitch black dark. So I'm like, okay, yeah, it was weird. Something that has to be interpreted later by my aunt in Haiti. We'll talk about it later. So
Okay.
I wake up at like 4:50, and I'm like, crap, why am I awake? So I end up going back to sleep, and it's every bit about 5:15. Well, you know, with daylight savings time, it jacks everything up because it's dark when it's normally daylight. So how are you saving daylight? Who knows? Anyway, so my alarm goes off at 6:30, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hit the snooze button. But somewhere between point A and point B, the whole snooze thing didn't work. So when I woke up, it was pitch black dark. So I go
What
back to
time was it?
sleep. It is 6:30. It's pitch black. So I'm assuming that it's earlier than what it was because it's still pitch black. So I go back to sleep. I wake up, birds are chirping. You hear people legit throwing newspaper. It's 7:20. I woke up at 7:20 and I have to be at work at 8 and make report by 8:15.
Oh no, the tragedy of it all.
I know.
Did you survive? Did you make it?
Barely.
Did you put a wig on or did you do your hair?
And in my hair.
Oh well,
That was like some of that old O.J. Simpson running through the motherfucking mega airport type shit.
At the old Hertz commercial. It was. I did DDT somebody today though.
Nice. Tim, just in case you're wondering, I knew member Jen E is she has a master's in nursing. She's a very educated woman. All those degrees on the back.
Well, that's
what I was
going to ask. I saw the wall of paperwork, and I was
those are her degrees. That's a background. But she does have a bunch of degrees, though. She's actually probably the most degree person on this call.
Definitely, I've got 0. So
we had to get some education on him.
Yes.
You couldn't tell by his writing, though, right?
He's brilliant.
He's brilliant at exposing the police, and that's why we have him on our show.
And I enjoyed the article that he wrote. I actually read it this morning. Me and the squad read it this morning. We enjoyed it quite a bit.
Oh,
so we're gonna talk about you talking about the FBI article, right?
No.
Well, a couple of things.
I'm talking about the cops shipping military gear to Ukraine.
We got to get into that too.
More than one article has been posted.
I actually read 4 of your articles.
Oh,
so hold on before we go.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, we're gonna talk about the FBI in the second segment, but Tim, tell us about this cops shipping military gear.
Well, okay, so cops can get military gear. That has been one part of the Department of Defense program for years. It's called the 1033 program. It allows them to access excess military gear. Stuff that's outdated, stuff that they got too much of. They can get it often for free because they can get government grants. That means they pay nothing for it. And because they pay nothing for it, cities and states and local governments don't pay much attention to what they collect. But that's why you see cops rolling around in MRAPs, MRAPS, which basically means mine-resistant armed personnel vehicles, as well as Bearcats, things like that. They get those for free. They get them for free or next to nothing, and all they have to do is type in a little something that says, "Hey, man, maybe the terrorists are going to come by and,
and they end up with a fucking
blow up the Mayday parade or whatever the fuck it is," and then they get the stuff.
Mayday.
Yes. Well, no, I've got another article on there that's even worse. It's some Tennessee thing that said that the terrorists are going to come threaten their Mule Day parade.
Yeah.
There's some sort of mule celebration every year in some small town. That's what got them a big armored vehicle. They get Kevlar vests. They get BD. They get
rubber bullets.
They get camouflage military gear to wear for free. They get guns. They get grenade launchers, which, trust me, they're not launching actual grenades at people, but the grenade launchers for tear gas, things like that. This all goes to them. And they can request everything up to aircraft.
And I remember seeing something in here where it said Global Military Products, GMP, the company won at least $500 million in Department of Defense contracts.
Oh, yeah.
And give that shit away to the police.
Right. So the taxpayers pay for it once. They pay for it when the military gets it. Then it gets transferred to the police departments, and they get to use it however they want against the same people. What it does, the most concerning aspect of it isn't necessarily that, because they can get anything from guns, AR-15s, magazines, whatever, to, filing cabinets, copier machines, stuff that military has too much of as well that might be useful. But the concerning thing is that now they're picking up all the armored gear, they're picking up all this military stuff, and they're garbing themselves or dressing themselves in this, and they're rolling into neighborhoods like this, which makes them appear to be an invading force rather than the protectors they're supposed to be. Wow, so they roll into neighborhoods you saw it the first time, I think, that the public attention was really drawn to it was in the protests in Ferguson following the Mike Brown shooting, where they were rolling in with the guys standing outside, halfway up to what would have normally been a gun turret. They don't have those. But in an armored vehicle, as they rolled in, shelling everybody with tear gas, dressed. They look like Army, National Guard at best. Right. But they're dressed in camouflage, and they're rolling in places where
this is the local police showing up.
Yeah, and this is in Missouri. This isn't like New York City or Los Angeles.
Yeah, this was in Missouri. And here's another thing that got me. This added to my behoovement. Because I literally spent probably like 2.5 hours on this site that I did not know existed. And it was usspending.gov.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And that you're going to find things.
And I feel like I'm some sort of like mafia member because I'm a healthcare professional. Because to see all the stuff that we have spent so much money on, you can find out what happened to all that Ebola supply surplus that all the hospitals was ordering when Ebola miraculously disappeared.
Well, that's the same thing they're going to do with that COVID. What we're going to do about that?
Exactly. Topic. Guess what? It's going to, like Tim said in his article, all this stuff is going to go to other countries, and the U.S. government is going to profit off of it.
Yeah.
After they
am I right?
To buy it.
Yeah. It is. I mean, you get the buy-in for free, basically. You get the taxpayers to pay for it, which, I mean, in almost every case happens without their permission, or even... There's no permission, consent, or even information handed out. It is, this money's been spent, here's what's arriving, here's what's going away. Thanks for living here. And that's basically it. So it's all a ton of government spending.
That's what's going to happen to the COVID vaccine.
Yeah,
watch what's going to happen to Johnson & Johnson. Yep.
Hold on. What you talking about? What's going to happen to Johnson & Johnson?
All that, don't worry, G-Mac. I know you got it. It's not gonna kill you.
Go still get the
all of that new shit that they bought.
It's going to be shipped to other countries.
It will be, and we'll get what And I don't think it's wrong for the U.S. to send excess supplies to other countries that may need them.
Make a profit, though, the taxpayers should share in the profits.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are government agencies that turn a profit, and that is not the point of government.
Right.
It should not be turning a profit.
Right.
It's not that it needs to give out more than it takes in.
But we're not truly a democracy either.
Right, but we're not obliged to give them our taxes, let them take our taxes, and then let them make more money on top of it. That money rolls in that we have no access to, but they can spend however they want. I mean, this happens even in the court systems. This is something also I've written a ton about at Tech Dirt, which is like Pacer. It was supposed to be give average people access to court documents from the federal court system.
Right.
Well, what did they do? They treated it, even as we went from the 1990s into 2000, 2010, 2020, they still treat it like it's a librarian running a copy machine. They'll charge you 10 cents a page for PDF downloads. They'll charge you 10 cents a page for search results that don't find anything. And they make money off this.
Being created with taxpayers' dollars to begin with.
Right. We fund everything. We fund the judges. We fund the courtrooms. We fund the government defenders or prosecutors, whoever's acting in these cases. The only thing we don't fund are the private parties that go into this. And the private parties are the ones who use it the most. The ones who use Pacer the most, that they give them the most money, and that's why they don't want to give it up, are billionaire tech companies that, and not even just tech companies, but regular companies. They will scrape everything they can out of there, looking for information that's useful for them in litigation. But for the average American, they're asking you as you come in the door, like, as if you're printing out on paper and burning up toner. You're not. Storage is cheap and nearly infinite.
So they charge you 10 cents for a PDF that it doesn't cost them a damn thing.
10 cents a page.
10 cents a page.
It's not 10 cents. It's not 10 cents for a document. It's 10 cents per page. And it's 10 cents for something that just shows up on your computer screen, not even a PDF. You go search for a docket, see what the listings are there for the documents that are available. That's still 10 cents a page. And the government gets to decide what a page is in terms of a search result.
Right.
It could be 10 entries. It could be 5 entries. It can be whatever. It's per byte. And it's based on something that was when the law went into place back in like 1996, 97, something like that, where storage was expensive for computers.
I don't want to cut you off, Tim. Jen,
no, go ahead.
Jen, what is the site you said? USspending.gov? Mm-hmm. We gotta share that because I think people should go and look. I
learned.
What is it? Is it USspending.gov or what is it like?
Hold on. It is USAspending.gov.
Okay, I think folks need to go there so you'll know where your money's being spent.
Well, I think it's good. Oh, sorry, I don't want to talk over somebody else. Go ahead.
I was just saying they do spend our money the way the fuck they want to, and they're constantly taking it.
And what she's pointing out is there's a site where you can go see how it's being spent, which is good. The government should provide that service. What you'll find on there isn't going to make you much happier, though. You're going to see you're going to see sole source providers who were supposed to be subjected to a bidding process to make sure the government gets the best price.
It's not.
And things like that, and it isn't. It's as shitty and corrupt as anything anywhere, but at least you can look at it, which you may not be able to do in other countries.
You can see the fucking
yeah.
You can see the fucking as you read it. God damn.
Yeah.
They're having a good time.
So now, I know a part of that shipping of the police stuff you were talking about, kind of getting back on topic before we hit our 20-minute break. Now, are they actually going to be shipping some of that stuff to Ukraine?
They are, but I don't know how that works because they have agreements with the Department of Defense, which means that they agree to take this and use this. If they can't use this, they have to return it to the Department of Defense. If they have excess, technically, it still belongs to the Defense Department, the federal government, and they're supposed to return it. Well, it seems like a great idea and very altruistic to hand it off to freedom fighters in the Ukraine. They don't technically have the permission to do this. The other concern is the stuff that they are offloading is not the good stuff. This is stuff they don't want anymore. This is stuff that, even though it may technically still be safe to use, it's past its expiration date, so to speak. We cannot, the government will no longer guarantee this Kevlar vest will stop bullets because it was purchased by them 12 years ago, and now you want to go hand it off to somebody else. So you're potentially, cops are going, hey, we don't think this shit is going to protect us anymore, but hey, we're going to give it to these guys and look good doing it. Like, well, potentially putting them in situations where they shouldn't be, where they trust the equipment, but it's not trustworthy.
Right. That is nuts. When we come back, man, we definitely got to talk more about that. But Tim, I definitely want to get your perspective on the situation in Ukraine, because we've been talking about that, but of course we've been making fun of it, and a serious matter too. But we got to talk about that when we come back.
Sure.
For those of you that don't know, we have officially fucked off 20 minutes of your time.
Officially, as we always.
And you're not getting it back, the government says, as it takes an hour.
You're not getting it back. So you've been here with us for 20 minutes. You might as well hang around, enjoy the music, enjoy the interviews. We're going to have a good time tonight. We got Tim Cushing, we got Jen E, we got Kokomo Dunn, of course, G Mac the Boss.
Yep.
It's HoodCast.
252.
What number is this? 252. Let's play some music, y'all. We'll be right back.
Be right back, y'all.
Hood Tech presents the HoodCast.
Oh, I'm gonna be fresh. Straight out the ground. Tasty fresh. Fresh-alicious. Ziploc fresh.
Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker.
I stay fresh 24/7, 365. I step in the club and leave these haters mouth wide. Hoes be surprised cause this big nigga so debonair. Then I whisper in their ear and run my fingers through their hair. I'm Huggy Bear, yes sir, I am the shit. I stay fresh dressed from my hat to my kicks. My whip game proper, my kick game too. I spit game proper, so protect your dang fool. Use a lane fool, step up your game fool. Adidas shoes with Nike socks, that's a shame fool. Stay in your lane fool, don't try to get in mine. Cause every day I grind, cause every day I wanna shine. Respect my mind, respect my fresh, respect my grind or you can expect your death. I'm gonna keep spitting the truth until there's nothing left. And I know it's one thing I can say about myself. I'm fresher than a motherfucker.
Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker.
You see me?
Yep, I'm a motherfucker.
Duke, polo on deck with my shoes to match. I'm clean, it ain't no excuse for that. You bummy and got to excuse my back. Your wardrobe offensive. You can't get no women. You rap about pimping bitches since you was an infant. Outfit wasn't fresh when they invented it. Couldn't be me. I shine with no kind of chain on. Your girlfriend begging me to call her phone. She said that my song's her ringtone and theme song. Group of chick. Dress code look like I'm stupid rich. You lame and wouldn't do shit if you found my dick off in that bitch. Yeah. Banana Republic cover my drawers. I'm covered in Shunjun cologne. Got hoes all over my balls now. We ain't got nothing to talk about unless it's cash advance driven. All about getting my mad pimpin'. Top shelf nigga, I'm mad expensive. Your image is senseless, ain't no improving that. You got more of that fruity swag. From head to toe, you wag. J's on my baby feet. She fresher than you and she only 3. Outfit cost me over AG. Double that on earrings and now she
Fresh shit in a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker.
Let's go. Yeah, bitch, I put that on my set. I bet I blow before I go. Cause I had my people cheering for me way before a show. Instead of getting thrown there on a sip of very before I pour. Swagger off the rip. I can pull your bitch in this, I know. Don't worry about so and so. Miss me with that chitter chat. I'd rather talk money. You on mute if you ain't getting that. Rest in peace, Lakeith. Damn, I wish I could get my nigga back. Used to hit your Uncle V and go half on the 50 sack. Now I blow cushion, get chose by the baddest. My only mission now is get paid to live lavish. Stunting at the mile with a pocket full of cabbage. About to buy a few carrots. You would think I'm making salad. J.I., you know me from chiefing and getting hoes. Sipping and spitting flows. Been taking off women clothes. Probably catch me on the road. Probably be doing shows. Either way, I'm getting dough. We're playing there how it go. Bitch, I'm
fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker. Yep, I'm a motherfucker. Fresh shit in a motherfucker.
HoodTech presents the HoodCast.
This the life we live. It's the life we live. We don't know no better. We don't know no better. We just looking for a way out. You know? What up? Yo, I was a good boy till my pops went away to prison. Hustling became more appealing. I sat back and I watched all them drug dealers. My cousin came in late and stacked that paper up that he was getting. Watched him do this shit for months before he took a trip to prison. Young and caught a body facing life in prison. Now he trying to fight the system and get his life back. Cause this the life he living. Young and reckless. VVS his necklace. Cause that shit forbidden to see a young nigga get that money and have a hustler spare. Raw dope. Bagging up gave me more hope that after I finish with this, I double up, no more broke, and get my family out of public housing, ain't no more joke. Glock 9 on me, whoever frontin' gon' get all smoke. I promise if I'm too offensive, it's because you didn't listen. I've been avoiding problems, staying low, trying to get this chicken, cause you can't beef with nobody if you broke. Cause lawyer fees and commissary don't come with that soap, but they don't hear me though. We living, it's the life we living. We don't know no better, cause we don't know no better. Cartiers and polo sweat. It's the life that we live in. It's the life we live in. We don't know no better, cause we don't know no better. Cartiers and polo sweaters. My father was a hustler, so that shit run in my blood. He had power before ghosts. Moving drugs out his club, I seen it all. How I get envy from showing love. They love you first, then start plotting to show you slugs. But listen, this game cheap, and it ain't for the weak. If he cut you, you gotta shoot him, cause we playing for keeps. And it's ugly, but this the life that we chose is the streets. You can't cry about it, cause this shit come with it preach. So I move extensive, I be real careful with niggas, cause any move I make is calculated. Yeah, it's the business stacking valuable assets. You taking glamorous pictures, just the front, so them bitches think you glamorous niggas. We know the difference, we heat up the water until it melt. Then I add a little soda and swim it like Michael Phelps. This that talk, that's gonna get your phone jumping like nothing else. Fuck a starter pack, this that feeling that Nino felt. We living, this the life we living. We don't know no better, cause we don't know no better. Cartiers and polo sweat. It's the life that we live in. It's the life we live in. We don't know no better, cause we don't know no better. Cartiers and polo sweaters.
Y'all, we back. All of us.
We are back. We up in this thing.
Segment of HoodCast 252. Okay,
go ahead, 2020 is taking pieces of my childhood. I'm so saddened right now.
What's wrong with you?
Razor Ramon is dead.
Who?
Oh no! Oh shit, no!
Yeah.
Who's dead?
Razor Ramon. Oh man, WWF, bro.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Not WWE, WWF Razor Ramon.
The bad guy.
Oh, man.
Rest in peace to Razor Ramon. What did he die from?
He actually had a fall. They went to repair the hip. While on the table, he suffered several heart attacks and was on life support. And he was removed from life support about 4 hours ago, and he died right when Raw came on.
Oh my God, that's fucked up.
Yeah, but I'm glad he found peace in his later years. He had a hard time.
Most of them wrestlers do, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
You should see their stories.
yeah, especially
Motherfucker-
Razors, because he killed a man in self-defense. Yeah, by accident.
It was
Yeah.
outside the ring.
Yeah. Well, he was a bouncer. Short story. He was in Florida. He was a bouncer. The guy, it was an argument over a chick that worked in a strip club that Razor was dating. Her estranged boyfriend showed up, pulled a gun on Scott. Scott grabbed the gun, was able to turn the gun on him, wrestled away from him. The gun went off, hit the guy in the head, killed him, and he never recovered from that fully.
Oh, you mean Razor now? Because I know he didn't recover from being shot.
Well, no, but Razor never recovered from it fully. And
too soon, Biggs. Too soon.
Too soon. Too soon. We are rather uncouth.
I am. I'm sorry.
And that's what happened. But his
Razor, he never recovered.
Yeah, but the legacy continues because he has a son that is a wrestler, Cody Hall. So.
Oh, that I didn't know.
That is way more information about wrestling than I ever knew.
Speaking of wrestling, I just want to do one more little just randomly off wrestling. I want to give a big ups to my boy Diamond Dallas Page. You know he got the big D. You know he got that new that Netflix movie.
Yeah, it's not like it.
That superhero movie.
Well, he's making a fun. They're making fun of the Justice League, and it's fun. It's fun. And he also, hip hop fact, he also sued Jay-Z for the use of the dynasty symbol and won.
Really?
Did he?
Somebody filed a lawsuit against Jay-Z and won.
He won.
I'm impressed.
For the use of intellectual property, he won.
Well, about time some Jay-Z paid for something he stole from somebody else. Anyway,
Oh, Jesus
so
Christ.
moving right along. We were talking about the interesting writing that Tim has been doing, but what caught my eye was this FBI story. Because I'm a big advocate for privacy. I'm a big advocate for privacy. You know what I'm saying? I'm that's the ultimate thing to me. Once you get in my privacy, boy, I got a problem. Not to mention I'm a dirty motherfucker, so I don't need you knowing my business. But Tim, can you please explain to the people this application
algorithm
that FBI was testing or purchased for testing?
All right. Well, short background. Okay, FBI had a meeting with NSO Group. NSO Group is an Israeli company that produces phone exploits, which are super useful and which have been super useful for the Israeli government to broker some sort of peace, considering they're surrounded by people that hate them. Understandably, they want to do stuff, So they've sold to Saudi Arabia, they sold to United Arab Emirates, they've sold to all sorts of human rights abusers in the interest of keeping Israel from being even, under more of the gun than it is. That's the simple thing. So NSO Group, which has recruited heavily from Secret Service agencies in Israel, like the Mossad, created phone exploits under the name Pegasus, which was something that could be sent out through WhatsApp and through other SMS services and messaging services, which had something that was so powerful that most people you didn't have to interact with it to have your entire phone compromised. It's called a zero-click exploit. It arrives on your phone the moment the message is accessed. You don't have to click a link or download anything or whatever. The moment that it is there, it starts running code. And what that code does is turns your phone into a listening device for whoever's targeting it. This is very, very, very good stuff and is very, very, very profitable for them because it's not just, there's stalkerware out there that you can get, but you have to have access to the phone. In this case, government agencies and whoever else didn't have to. They could send out these messages. All they had to do was be acknowledged, like they existed on the system, and then they would have access to microphone, camera, files, any files on their photos, other SMS messages, other messages there, whatever else. They could keylog. They could do whatever they wanted to. So it was crippling. Unimaginable power for the people they sold it to.
So now the FBI actually purchased this.
They did, and just give you more background, like, this has been exposed for a couple of years. They found infections on phones where they're targeting journalists, or targeting lawyers, immigration lawyers, or targeting political figures who are opposed to whoever's in power. They're targeting, even in one case, one of the princes who is in power in the United Arab Emirates targeted his wife, his ex-wife, and her lawyer during divorce proceedings. So obviously NSO didn't care who they sold to, but what NSO did have was an agreement with Israel. Israel's government oversaw a lot of this. There were things they couldn't do. At one point, it was agreed they could not target Israeli citizens. More importantly, their agreements with other countries and probably behind the scenes in the U.S. said that they could not target U.S. phone numbers. Well,
but
the FBI was interested.
Big ass butt in the middle of it, ain't it?
Yeah, the FBI was interested. They wanted to have an extremely powerful wiretap tool that could go after people who would normally be suspicious of stuff sent to them and would not click on links and whatever, but they didn't have to anymore. They could send out an exploit that didn't require anybody to click on a link or do anything that was normally considered outside of the normal operational security that you wouldn't do. So they met with them, and they demonstrated an offshoot of the Pegasus exploit that was specifically designed for the FBI, that bypassed their internal restrictions to target U.S. phone numbers. And so what the FBI did was they bought up a bunch of, disposable burner phones and tried it out.
Trap phones.
Yeah, so they
phones.
And that's good, because I meant the FBI wasn't just going to go trial this out on random people in the U.S., see if it worked. The interesting thing about this is Facebook sued NSO Group a few years ago for using WhatsApp servers to deliver malware. What may have been the case is that what Facebook observed was the FBI testing this program with NSO Group. What they likely saw in the lawsuit was the U.S. WhatsApp servers being used to deliver malware to the burner phones that the FBI had purchased. Really interesting twist to a lawsuit originally, but what this did show the U.S. is that NSO Group could give them a zero-click exploit that would allow them to just tap into someone's phone and not tap into the phone in the way we historically think of tapping into someone's phone, where you get to hear their conversations. FBI agents go, "Hey, is this a conversation about criminal activity?" No, hang it up. No, instead it gives them unfettered access to everything on it. They can mirror the hard drive. They can mirror the storage on it. They can basically carbon copy themselves on every communication on it.
So you get a text message from your mom, and they get So you get a text message from your mom, and you get it. You get a text message.
Nothing the courts have ever seen before. This is way beyond that. This
so
is like
the FBI still using this, or do they decide to
Well, here's the interesting thing. They went back and forth for a while trying to figure out whether or not they could use this legally. It was finally, and of course this is from reports, so we don't know whether or not this is exactly what they decided, but they decided there was no way that they could legally do this at this point in time.
How much money is to determine that?
They spent $5 million over a little over 2 years.
Wow.
To determine that maybe this was not something they could use legally with the rights and protections that we have. Which, hey, I mean, golf clap for the FBI, but they spent $5 billion in 2 years trying to figure out whether or not
$5 million or $5 billion.
Yeah, $5 billion. Million. I mean, and that may seem like a drop in the bucket for the FBI's budget, and it is, but it's still $5 million that went into them trying to figure out if there was some way they could exploit something that has never been seen before, nothing has been experienced before, nothing has ever been handled by the U.S. courts before. If there was some way they could get around the Constitution and prior case law without causing problems in case. And this doesn't mean that it will happen every case. tons of people get arrested for shit. Hardly anybody challenges the evidence because they can't either afford it or they can't find a good public defender who's willing to do it, or the government says, hey, fine, challenge our evidence, but you're going to spend 180 days in jail because we're going to set the trial date out as far as we can. You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your family. You're going to lose your house. What do you want to do? Do you want to plead guilty? So that's the way the system works. 96 to 97% of all criminal cases end in a plea deal. That is not a justice system. That is extortion. Because one party holds the power, and that's the government, and one party has to be subjected to it. So it's what they call I'm on Twitter. I follow a ton of defense lawyers. It's what's called a trial tax. You want to take this to trial? Great. You're going to be in jail if you don't have the bail money, and this is how they punish the poorest people. Mm-hmm. And you are going to get, we might have dropped some charges if you want to take a plea deal, but now you're getting everything we can think of.
Right. So
and that's going to be stacked all the way up to here. So what might have been a 30-day misdemeanor is now going to be 7 years possible felony sentence or whatever. And so they leverage that against people, and they go, you know what? I want to be out. You've got me for 30-day misdemeanor, and I've already served 10. You're going to let me go. I've got kids to support. I've got a job to get back to. And that's how it works. So, I mean, this was the same thing. They worked every angle of the justice system, and still, it was so powerful and so capable of giving them stuff that nobody ever seen before that the FBI actually decided there was no way they could make use of this and get that evidence to hold up. So they ditched it.
Later.
But $5 million and a couple of years later is when they came to that conclusion. They spent a lot of time and money on it.
And what's the likelihood that there's a black site somewhere that's actually using this shit? Because if you said that NSO sold this to a whole bunch of other countries, I know damn well I get these weird text
here's the thing,
all the time from people I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And
NSO groups restrictions say that they cannot target U.S. numbers.
Right.
But that is an agreement between the Israeli government and whatever forces between the Israeli government and the U.S. government that have said, don't do this. That doesn't mean anything until it's found and it's challenged. So whether or not they're doing it, who knows? And maybe we'll never know. And maybe they already have. But it's what they had agreed to, and it's what's in their paperwork. And that's at least something to leverage against in the case it's found out. Well, yeah, I think Facebook caught them on accident. I mean, Facebook was suing them for basically breaching the terms of service by using WhatsApp to deliver malware that compromised people's phones. And they said, you can't do that in our systems and on our servers. And that was what the lawsuit. Well, yeah, maybe.
Not bad because they do it anyway.
But what they came across as evidence that this has happened may not actually be evidence of NSO Group doing the things that they said in the lawsuit. This may have been what they caught was the FBI doing a trial run of the NSO software. They, the bespoke, go get the Americans version they had concocted. So what they may have seen was actually something they can't sue over. It was the FBI testing stuff, and it was whatever. I mean, it's it may be a breach of the terms of service, but it's not necessarily that NSO was allowing foreign governments to target U.S. people. It was the FBI targeting dummy phones, and that's what they picked up.
My next question will be: who owns the NSO? Where's that
NSO Group? It's an Israeli company, and who owns it? It's a couple of guys who started off. One of them is former Mossad. Another one's from another
agency.
So they another spy agency in Israel, and these guys had a legitimate business thing. But what they had, there is a purpose, a legitimate purpose for software like this. When you go against the worst of the worst, you need to be able to find people and whatever. I mean, even sometimes that scale gets to be a little bit sliding. But what happened with the NSO Group is they had a close relationship with the Israeli government, and Benjamin Netanyahu, the former prime minister, was one who brokered a lot of trades with a lot of super shitty and shady governments. That gives them the reputation they have now, where they gave Saudi Arabia, longtime known abuser of human rights. United Arab Emirates, which is basically
they chop up reporters.
Yeah, you're like, oh hey, kings and princes. How could that go wrong? You know, they don't even have like a democratically elected government. They have guys who are kings and princes, plus on top of that have enormous amounts of oil wealth. So what? That's why one prince of or king of Saudi or United Arab Emirates used the software he purchased from NSO through government contracts to spy on his ex-wife and her lawyer. I mean, it's shit like that. They gave it to Mexico. Mexico's government, hey, not all of it corrupt, but for years everybody's accepted that most of it is. They've targeted journalists. They've targeted opponents of political figures who have risen up through the ranks with corruption. And they possibly, due to the corruption that's there and due to the way that things are in Mexico and have been for years, government agencies and government figures who have close relationships with drug cartels that have allowed them to target their opponents. And
I know J. Edgar, who was alive today, they would be using that shit.
They sure would.
Spying on his boyfriend.
He would have been. Yeah.
he would have been.
So I have a question.
What dress he was wearing?
Yeah.
So there's been this big thing. Matter of fact, I had no idea my son was such a big fan. Facebook, Twitter, even something as simple as Snapchat. You do a web search, and then all of a sudden what you were searching for appears in an ad. Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. So is this a part of this whole spyware thing?
No. That is very, 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 very competent and well developed over several years.
Okay.
It's just a collection of cookies. It's a collection of browsing habits. It's figuring out where your phone is. If you have location info turned on, maybe you don't. It doesn't matter. Other apps, even if you turn off Google's location service, other apps you have on your phone may get your location, know where you shop, know where it goes. They get course location data. There's a lot of stuff that looks super fucking scary, which isn't really, I mean, it's like, oh, I just watched something on TV and now they're advertising it. It's
the scary.
These people that know targeting advertising, they know what they're doing, and they're able to compile this shit, and it is scarily accurate at times. Other times it's terrible. It's like you go to Amazon, you're like, hey, I want to, they just figured out from all your location data and stuff you maybe submitted to whoever you bought stuff from. Like, I just bought a brand new bed, and Amazon's like, hey, you want to buy a new bed? It's not because they think you want to buy two beds. It's because you bought a new bed, so you're interested in bedding stuff. But it looks stupid and it looks scary because it's
but if you buy a bed
nobody's
online,
buying multiple mattresses at one time.
But you get ads for sheets, and then you get ads for curtains and all types.
Well, I mean, there's other stuff that's been coming up there that's even worse. Like, you start up accounts with retail companies because you want to benefit from coupons, sales, notices of stuff going on clearance or whatever. So you submit this information to them, and you don't think anything about it. You think, hey, these guys are just going to let me know, hey, they're going to give me like, shitty mass emails that say save 10% tomorrow on, leggings, maybe something wrong. But what you don't understand is what they also have collected is all kinds of information. They got your contact list, they got everything else. And so there are people who've, like, in past years, and we've covered this before, Tech Dirt, is like people have figured out like their spouses or their kids are pregnant because of targeted emails they've got from retail companies when they didn't even know that. Yeah.
The worst part about it is, though, what most people don't understand is on those apps, when all those games and shit, the reason why they're free is because they sell your data. They got stuff to sell. Yeah. Now the biggest product in the world is information. So they sell your information. So, like, I love playing this 8-ball pool game. These motherfuckers probably know my whole life from where I am at all times. Yeah, I play it all the time. So I'm sure they're selling my info.
And you want to be, you want to understand what they're doing.
I tell you
what they're asking.
I tell you what blew my mind was when they would do the 10-year challenges on Twitter. And they said, "Oh,
I kept telling people not to do that.
Take a picture of your face and you can see what you'll look like in 10 years."
Right,
I was like, you're building a facial recognition
I refuse to drink the
Kool-Aid.
Begins with a textual grin.
She's like, "What's that?" So I mean,
that was the music break. that
It's
we
like,
just
Time to music break. All right.
It's
G-Mac
shit.
has told us
Oh, sorry.
it's time to break
Go
the
ahead.
music.
Hey, it's not me. It's the universe, I guess. It's the HoodCast universe.
It's just tell us.
It
Y'all
is a
tell us too
program.
much info.
Hold
Coco, when you
on.
get your
Coco,
sound
say
straight over there?
something.
Coco,
Ooh, I heard you.
Yo.
Yeah, I got that part fixed. I fixed that, though. Feel like I'm echoing. Am I echoing?
No, you good.
No, you sound good.
Where the hell is your head?
Leave him alone.
Somebody Anyway, well, we're gonna play a little music, and we'll be right back.
Coco, keep your sound where it is so we can hear you.
Right after
Be right
this.
back.
HoodTech presents the HoodCast. Hey, Ruel, hold on. Hey, I got this text real quick. Oh, man. What? Oh, man. Sexing after texting. Hey, sex is done, dog.
T9 me, I'm really getting in the mood. Proposition in you too. Send me pictures in the nude like you a centerfold. Text me in the code. Type in 69. That sounds really cool. Who would have knew that in a few replies that you and I would get a room tonight? When you picking up your phone, you tickle my hormones. Yearning to give you way more than just sore thumbs. Come to Papa, come on over after you get off of work so I can put it on you proper. You don't have to knock, cuz you can come on in. I'ma show you what my dirty smiley really meant. We can put this in and you and I up in the sky. Reenact everything that we fantasize. No JKing, no LOLing, just a mouthful of pillow for your yelling. I'm telling you that I feel like sexing after texting. I'm hoping that you got my message, cause I'm in need of your affection. Guess what you do to me?
Now we texting again, and she wants the Longhorn like it's Texas again. The message begins with a textual grin. She wants sex, I reply, yes, I'll attend. She's at work, so she wants to role play. So I run with it like OJ, say okay. What you gonna say? I'ma hit it like it's croquet. You can't win if you don't play. And she can bend, but she won't break. With a friend, it would go great. Press the send button, then she sent something. And it really blew my mind. She said, all right, but keep it between you and I. And who am I? She replied, you're my big poppy. Cause I'm strong and a bit stocky. But my Spanish is a bit choppy. She can throw the pitch. She can even throw the switch. She'll know I'm gonna hit.
I feel like sexing after texting. I'm hoping that you got my message, cause I'm in need of your affection. It's what you do to
See,
me.
my message is sexing. Once I received all her texts, I proceed to relieve all the stressing. She is indeed in need of a lesson, so I give her the effing. And the screams, baby, please give me a resting. So I call for a halftime, and I will coach her. Put her knees like a seat on my sofa. Hold her low, bend her over. Then I go deep stroke her. Hit it bare like a polar. Make her bite on her molars. Hit the pause on my motor, cause I know that I'll fold her. I feel a need in the closer. Grab the door when I coach her. Give a tap on the shoulder, then a dap when I know her. Close my door and it's over.
I feel like sexing after texting. I'm hoping that you got my message, cause I'm in need of your affection. Na, 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 na. It's what you do to me.
Yo, this is G-Mac the Boss. You are listening to HoodTech Presents the HoodCast.
HoodTech presents the HoodCast.
$24 in a day, 7 days a week. We out here on the grind while you niggas sleep. The system ain't designed to help you and me. It give you everything you want instead of what you need. Thumbing through these hundreds trying to chase a dream. But show them what it take to really make a king. I stand for these streets and everything they made. Even if a nigga gotta make a sink, pulling on the smoke while I pull up at the show. Got a taste for this money, now I'm trying to get some more. But you gotta keep it close, cause you will never know on who's real and who's not, and who's hating from the dough. Don't let these rap labels ship you out of your soul. Cause once they cut a check, they become a control. They refuse to respect, you did it all on your own. Don't need a noose on my neck, it's the whole lot of go. What's
You
up?
know, like I know, we all gotta leave someday.
Yeah.
And if you know, like I know, we all wanna see those cakes. So no matter where you are, I pray heaven ain't too far.
Hoping heaven
And if you know, like I know, we all gotta go someday.
You know the song still, the chrome still in these 4 wheels. You gotta stay protected in your home field. Gotta do it on your own, get your own measures. Be your own boss, cut your own deals. Cause they don't really wanna see you advance. But you gotta plant the seed if you trying to expand. Whatever your future holds, then it's all in your hands. So blame you if it doesn't go according to plan. I do this shit for the family, you do this shit for the gram. Give a fuck by the Grammy, I'm trying to buy me some land. So when my hands get dirty, I end up making amends. What you thought was a blessing, probably turn to a sin. Gotta keep your business on the need to know. It's all about the discipline, you gotta keep control. Dedicate your time trying to reach your goal. And elevate your mind, it'll free your soul.
You know, like I know, we all gotta leave someday. And if you know, like I know, we all wanna see those cakes. So no matter where you are, I pray heaven ain't too far. And if you know, like I know, we all gotta go someday. I pray heaven ain't too far.
Hoping heaven ain't far.
And it's pronounced. If you're dealing with one.
God made a mistake giving me a cute little mischievous face. Look at me.
Yes, we are.
I get away with everything.
Yes. Somebody's stuff is. Oh. All right, well, we back.
What's
we
up,
back.
yo?
HoodCast 252. Third and final segment, baby.
Well, we are running long tonight because we got a guest. Tim Cushing's in the house. And, yo, every time Tim comes on the show, I gotta honestly say I leave a little more scared of the world than I started. This motherfucker just
but he confirmed that Big Brother is watching.
It is true.
Yeah, I knew that
We
already.
didn't know Big Brother was watching. I don't call
He
him.
parks out in
I
front of
call
my
him
house every
Uncle
morning.
Sam. I call him Uncle Sam.
He parks out in front of my house every morning, and I take him a cup of coffee and a donut.
So here's my biggest question, because this is my first time meeting Tim. How did you get into this? Let alone writing about it.
Well, I had started writing Protector years ago. It was almost 10 years at this point, but I was just a commenter on there. But I was reading a lot of stuff by like Radley Balco, who had worked he works for the Washington Post now.
Yeah, he works
for
for
other
the
sizes, and things where I was seeing stuff. It's just like I don't understand why this is what is this? What is this? I had never noticed that there was so much going on in that thing. I was mainly interested in like copyright and trademark issues and tech issues and things like that. But then I saw that there was just as much abuse coming out of a sector that people weren't paying enough attention to. And Radley Balco and other writers like that were like, hey, look at this. I mean, this is abusive, highly abusive behavior, completely enabled by governments that it didn't necessarily tie in at first, but as I worked into it, a lot of that switch that paved the way between what I used to write about and what I do a lot now was the Ed Snowden leaks about the NSA. So then you got to realize that the people that were involved with like law enforcement and fighting terrorism were in fact just as awful as anybody else who was like being abusive about copyright, wanting to sue people because, whatever. So it was like I started branching out into a different path. And then the great thing about the guy who runs the site is that when I started branching on this different path and started showing up and started writing stuff about this, he wasn't like, hey, this isn't a tech thing. He was like, hey, this is a human thing. We all need to be
because all
concerned
your
about this.
articles are very human, especially the George Floyd one.
Yeah, so we need to we can't just ignore that this is happening. This is something that affects all of us. Law enforcement, whether it's people working for copyright agencies who want to sue some guy out in the middle of nowhere who happened to host a couple of burnt DVDs of something and went all oppressive on him and railroaded him into several $1 million in fines and 7 or 8 years of federal sentences is any difference than somebody who's like, hey, I decided to hassle you because I thought your turn signal was out, but now I just want to fuck with you, and now here's what I can do to make you go to jail or make you miserable for even trying to question my authority. And it's the same thing. It's an abuse of power without transparency or accountability that links all the way back to stuff that Tector originally covered. And Mike Masnick, the guy who runs the site, was very graceful and was very intuitive and knew that this was a way to go forward and said that these are issues that we need to cover, whether or not it falls under what this site was when he started it almost 15 years prior to me joining it. So
he probably noticed some nice bit of clicks coming through with that shit too.
Well, I can only hope so. I mean, I want to make him some money. He's a good boss, and I want him to be successful and want him to do good. And if I can do that for him, great. And I also appreciate the fact that he's given me so much free reign to do things that people are going to object to and people are going to be angry about. And even in cases we've seen longtime commenters and subscribers drop off, but he still said this is the right thing to do and let's move forward. We will get more people.
Rock with you. That's what's up. That's dope. That is dope. Now tell me something, Tim. Of course, I got to ask the question that everybody wants to know. The one thing, the biggest fans of our show, whenever you're on, where are the raccoons?
Yep.
That was asked before I even got on the air, so to speak. I'm like, they're good, they're quiet, they seem happy. I don't want to screw with them because they're so active when they come out. I love them, but I also need to know that when I got to get stuff done,
Jen's sneaking away.
I want to let them do the things that
you gotta bring up the raccoons on the show, man. That is like the
okay. Wait.
Yes,
you know she's due. So she has to.
Tim, can you get one? Are you around them?
No. Excuse me. No. Let me explain.
We want to scare the shit out of you.
Oh yeah, because these some big ass raccoons.
First of all, they're trash pandas. That's one.
That's one.
Two. When I worked in community health, I had to go to different houses, and I met a family that were the cousins of the cast of Deliverance that had them. And they have little hands like people. It's like they're wearing Oakleys. And they were like in the house and they would like greet you. Dude, no.
Dude, yes. Tim got raccoons, right? You got to go back to some of our old shows.
I will. I'm going to upload some stuff for you. I don't want to fuck with them right now because I got other stuff to do tonight too as well.
I got you.
So I don't want to drag them out. But I will.
Drag them out?
Well, no, not drag them out. I mean, like
when they come out,
and then when I say drag them out, I mean
the Guardians of the Galaxy, Jen.
Rocket.
Yes, Rocket.
He lives with
Rocket. For real. They big for real.
Yeah.
No lie, I'm not bullshitting.
Here's the thing. Okay, it's not. I said drag them out. It seems evil. That's not what I mean. It's like if I take them out.
They're going to bother you for the rest of the night.
They're going to define my schedule for several hours. And right now, I want to be able to define mine until they decide.
How many are there?
2. Male, female.
So they can make more.
Well, no, they can't. Okay, so I can have them legally where I'm at right now in South Dakota because I'm outside of the city limits of a major city. But there are vets in the city that will take care of them. So they are both spayed and neutered. I have a male and a female. They're spayed, neutered, have all their rabies and distemper and whatever the fuck else they need to have. They've got all these.
Those is babies for real.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's some place I can post. I'll throw some photos up here, but I'll throw them in the private chat. Or I don't know what you guys can do to handle this because I'm unfamiliar with this thing. But
I mean, are they elderly raccoons? Or they?
No, they're real regular raccoons that grew up to be gigantors.
And then too, I saw one. My dog lost his tail from a raccoon. And here's the thing about it: like the raccoon was like, "Go about your business. I'm going back up this tree. You snapped at me. I snapped on you, and you peace." And apparently, my dog was like,
"Fuck that."
Yeah, and
he got an ass whooping from a raccoon.
I mean, threw him across the yard, and I mean, we looked and like a piece of his tail was gone. And I'm like, dude, I am so sorry.
Yeah, you don't fuck around. We got Kokomo back. He was having technical problems. Kokomo, how you doing now? You good? Can you hear us?
I am doing outstanding. I'm actually.
Did you talk up some? There you go. There, baby. Hold up. Right there, baby. Boom.
Oh,
started.
It's cute.
So
you're seeing them?
Yeah, they're cute.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen. I don't know how this works on here, but I'm gonna go through my raccoon photos. This is okay. So yeah, this is the boy. That's Bandit, cuddled up in a shirt, climbing up on top of half of. We had to kind of dismantle this this armoire because they could climb all the way to the top of it. So we're like, no, that's dangerous. So let's take half of it away and put it in the ground. And so that's the girl over here is Bean. That's the female. She's on the left. Bean. And the male is the one laying his head on my stomach going, hey, I love you.
Very domestic.
Very
yeah, here we go. Here's some videos of them.
They're very meaty. Very meaty.
Yeah.
every time we do it. So come on. Tell them how.
This is this female eating, and she snorts when people are around. You hear that? Hear it? Listen to it. She just. Here, I'll start it again because it's just amazing. You'll hear this big ass snort. Sounds like a huge male pig.
Well, she's enjoying her meal, obviously.
And I got too close to my camera. And here's the boy. Here's the boy eating something. I think as soon as this loads here, I think he's got carrots or something else here. Oh, there he is on my lap. But let's see if this video. Here he goes. Here he goes. He loves cucumbers. Cucumbers. He loves cucumbers.
Me too.
Here he goes.
See what G-Mac is seeing is you are seasoning these raccoons.
I am. I'm stuffing them for later use. Yeah.
He's stuffing them. Yeah, that thing is looking.
Hey, you don't have to worry about what they eat. Look how healthy they are, bro.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not healthy. They're obese.
That's even better. That's even better. Yeah.
The female is like swallowing the male at this point, and now here's the male poked up above the female, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on, Dad?" This little box I made for them. This came from my other workplace. I work for a plastic company. This used to hold a big plastic grinder with metal gnashing teeth on it to grind stuff down. And so we can turn it back into resin. And I was looking around there. I'm like, hey, you guys doing anything? They're like, well, we don't know. I'm like, well, I'm taking it. So I carved out this little U-shaped hole here and cut off half the top. And they love squishing back into it, as you can see in that photo.
Wow. Well, we have.
I told you they're big as rocket.
Look, do they look healthy? No, that's not healthy.
That's a big.
I couldn't even pretend I looked healthy if I was sitting on the back of the couch.
Look at the belly on that.
Dad, you get
Look, the one that's on the back of the couch. Look how big he is. Jeez.
Yeah. I have been eating more. So yeah, there they are. I mean, they used to be younger, and smaller, but they're
living their best life.
They would never find my body if one of those attacked me.
Here he goes. He's playing with me. This is the boy. Hi, Dad.
Wow.
I'm gonna get your arm, and here he is, and looking sort of
serious?
vicious.
Again, never ever go on a trip to Arkansas. Had them with you.
Yes, don't cross the state line in Arkansas. With them
I told her really don't even go back.
It ain't even Arkansas. There are so many. So you wouldn't know until you own them. How many legal restrictions there are on doing any fucking thing, going any fucking where with them. It's amazing.
And probably because a lot of people around close to your states eat them.
Right. Well, not only on top of that, I should have known that from the first point that I thought about purchasing them.
You didn't know that?
No. It's not that. It was that I should have paid attention to the search results. When I searched how to take care of a raccoon, and 99% of the search results were how to exterminate a raccoon, I should have known that the general
I mean, they get in your roots. They can do damage.
Oh, they can. No doubt about it. Mine can't do anything to anybody.
Man, we left Kokomo out of this show. Kokomo, since
I just now got the computer working right, man. I had technical difficulties, man, and then I fuck around with trying to fix that shit. Then some more other shit popped up on that shit.
You can tell he get his hat on, World.
I am a tech.
He did get the hat on, though.
Yeah,
he did. It's my trademark, you know.
You can tell that he's stressed because the hat comes off.
Right. The hat. He got the hat on. Well, since Kokomo got in here last, Kokomo, we're going to give you the honor of doing the first random statement for the night.
Right.
Okay. The first random statement is make sure you have your shit ready when it need to be ready.
So you got your shit ready when it need to be ready. Yeah. That is a good one right there, because tonight you was having some problems, but we got Kokomo the Don back. We've had Tim Fishing with us. He's printing that out.
Motivational poster.
Put that on. Yeah,
taking that to work tomorrow.
Yeah,
have
your shit ready. Boss, you need to be ready.
Exactly. People need to know.
Tim, you're our guest, so we're gonna let you go second. What's your random statement for tonight?
All right, I don't have too many random statements, but I do know that you guys love a good shirt, so I'm going to show you this one.
Yeah.
Because I've worn them before, and if you can't see it,
in the balls.
So,
that's his random statement for tonight. P is stored
that's
in the balls.
Random. Yes, that's
P
the
is
great.
stored in the balls, baby.
The internet's denial of the existence of a bladder, which is
and a lot more of it is stored when you drink.
Well, and I gotta admit that I saw this shirt. I was watching a documentary shortly after Bob Einstein died, Super Dave Osborne.
Oh.
Eric Andre was interviewed, and he was wearing this shirt, and I'm like, I've got to have that. So I went and found it, and
you
now
wear
I
that
have
shirt
it.
out in public? You wear it to the grocery store?
I fucking wear it to my other job, and they love it.
Of course.
And I also have this one, which I don't know if this will show up or not, but I'll send another copy to you. Anyway, my random statement is this. It's a really, really bad joke, and I'm going to go through it as quickly as possible while still making a good joke. A guy is hanging out at a diner out in the West. Bunch of ranch hands out there, bunch of ranchers. He strikes up a conversation with a guy while eating some eggs, drinking some coffee. He's like, "Hey, you look like a good, fit young guy. I got a job. I've lost the other guys. They're out. My family's not helping me out. I got to round up a bunch of my cattle, and I'll pay you good money. I can give you $1,000 to get this job done." The guy's like, $1,000? $1,000? That's good money. I mean, it's good money, but I don't know what the job is. I mean, $1,000 sounds good, but how many head of cattle do we need to round up? And the rancher's like, well, last I counted, I got 195. And the guy says, well, easy, that's 200. And then holds out his hands for $1,000. That's the bad joke I have.
No.
Yeah, because I didn't get that shit.
It's mathematically wrong. It's a nerd joke.
It's a nerd joke. It's just, we need to round up my cattle. And he says, I have 195 cows. He goes, easy, that's 200.
Round up. Yeah.
Okay, here, you want a different nerd joke? Okay, Empress,
I got
I'm going to give you a different.
But no, I got it. It's the nerd joke.
This is for Empress. This is the second nerd joke that I'll give you. As a coder comes home from work, his wife says, hey, I need you to go to the store and grab me a few things. He's like, cool, that's fine. What do you need? She goes, I need a couple dozen eggs. And if they have bread, grab 2 dozen. Or no, wait, hang on. I fucked it up, and now I just want to clock out. She basically says, yeah, Go to the store, get me a dozen eggs. If they have bread, grab 2 dozen. So he goes to the store and comes back with 2 loaves of bread.
Because there's 12 slices.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now,
So,
Jen, you want to go to your random statement?
My random statement is this.
Tim, you better stick to fucking snitching on the police.
I should snitch on the police.
Snitching on the
Fuck the police, I said.
Fuck the police.
Being in the most comfortable situation to do it, which I understand. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's not a random statement. I mean, I understand I'm working from a complete position of privilege when I do this, and I appreciate the fact that you still consider my views to be valid enough to have me come speak with you guys.
Oh,
and
man, we like it.
That ain't random. That's just, I appreciate it. I know where I'm at.
You're our in-house white boy, so you get to say some stuff.
I know where I'm at, and I know that I can cruise through any hood and probably never get stopped for any bullshit.
Right,
but that does give me the chance to roll out what I do. So,
how did that feel, Tim? Tell us how's that. What's it like to be a white man in America?
It's obviously the best. You've seen how we've done.
We've done very well.
Oh, wow.
We've done very well for ourselves.
All right, Jen. What's your random statement, Jen?
Impossible is just an opinion.
Oh, that's nice. Better than a math joke. Thank you.
Sorry.
I got the math joke.
We're gonna get Tim back on here, man.
We gotta get Tim back. Tim, you'll be back, right?
I'll be back anytime you ask me. I can get back. I think.
Yeah, we gotta get Tim back. We definitely gotta get Tim back on next month, and we keep saying we're gonna get a regular date for Tim, but we gotta get Tim back on here. Because I mean, you know,
we said originally on the 22nd, like on his birthday, 22nd.
Yeah.
I want to know how I feel to be a white man. I want him to explain.
We gotta have a whole show about that. Don't do it now. We gotta have a whole show.
Do
about
that.
what it's
Let
like
me
to be a white
know,
man.
and I will prep a whole thing for about how it feels to be a white man.
In America.
And what
We
may
need that.
feel occasionally disappointing for me, it'll positively feel exhilarating for everybody who isn't, because it's ridiculous for us. Even when shit is bad, it's still pretty fucking good. We're pizza.
All right, it's Willie Biggs, bitch.
All right, it's Willie Biggs, bitch. My random statement for the night is: face every obstacle as if it was your first challenge.
Damn, all these serious ass fucking.
Come on.
Well, you said your butt
What do you
itches
got?
last weekend.
I said what? Just a couple weeks ago. It was a couple weeks ago. He said his
What I
butt
say?
itches.
You said your butt itched.
Don't you wish that you could scratch it?
I mean, I got a serious one too. I'm just gonna say, and this I adapt this. This is my saying. You know, I taught my boys growing up. They memorize this. Action speaks louder than words.
Action speaks
What
louder
a
than words.
motherfucker say? The way they moving, gonna tell you exactly how they mean, what they mean.
Yep.
Might as well
Never
come out
trust
there.
what they say. Trust what they do.
Right.
And on that note, y'all.
This has
Do it,
been
G-Man.
HoodCast 252. Everybody
Right
up
on.
in this thing is finna get up at this thing.
Like a ghost in here. Ooh.
You were like Noob Sabat earlier because you would appear and then you disappear.
I know. All right, y'all. Let's go. Thank y'all for listening.
All right, everybody,
Thank
have
you.
a very hood day.
Have a hood day.
Have a good day.
HoodTech presents the HoodCast. HoodTech presents the HoodCast.